medical doctor.
Right.
English is just doctor. Igqirha, traditional doctor.
Wow.
English is still doctor. Igqirha, of course,
Yes.
is the witch.
Yes.
Okay.
You don't get close to that.
No.
Move away from it.
It's interesting. So the etymology, or the group of the word qigha
Yes.
has many
Yes.
variations and meanings.
Very good.
When
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just in English confined to one.
Yeah, true.
Somebody said English is one of the most bastardized language. Something along those lines. Like,
Yeah, it's very limited touch, man. I mean, you have Mr. Pain. That's a window pane. I have pain here. But you take that to our languages. Your language, Zulu, kubhlungu. First, pain is a different meaning. The name is a different meaning. Our languages are very rich. So
Very.
just to set the tone, we must take pride in our language.
can we create that the richness of our language? How do we transform and evolve to creating wealth?
Yeah, man. And this is what we are about today.
Yes.
Wealth, and that's a big name, big word. We have to start by unlearning a few things.
Woo.
When we talk investment 101, that means back to basics. That's what we are doing. I must start by commending Metro the whole day.
Yeah.
You've
Yes.
been on money, investment, financial freedom. That's powerful. I think and I hope you can keep this somewhere so that it can be accessible.
Correct.
Wealth. We're saying we're changing the barometer. That's
Yes.
our topic today
Yes.
of black wealth, because our barometer has been set so low, so low, like your 30% in matric pass. It's so low. We think wealth is riches. We think riches is affordability. So those are different things. You can afford. You have a car. You can afford. You can just afford to actually have debt. That's where you are. That's not wealth. That's not even rich. A person who's rich can buy what they want to buy. And when I talk about buying, when you say you have bought a car, it means the car is in your name. Not that you have afforded debt to have the car.
How is it systems are designed to say you are A+ credit? Based on A+ credit, you are regarded wealthy because you have a facility that goes beyond your positive balance sheet. Uthola ukuthi wena une overdrafted 20 million. And that becomes part of your wealth. When ideally it's a liability.
Touch, we are here to demystify all of that.
Thank you. Please let's do it.
That
I'm
is
burning
not,
my credit card today.
That is not wealth.
Yes.
That's affordability. That means you have trapped in a system that is going to hold you for the rest of your life. When you are wealthy,
Yeah.
you have capacity not only to enrich yourself, but your family, 4 generations forward, 4 generations backward.
Jesus.
That person is wealthy.
Wow.
That's wealth. These things you have,
Yeah.
they are your own.
Yes.
And I mean, we talk a lot. There's the biggest youth day today.
Correct.
Youth political party, the biggest youth political party, talks about getting the land.
Right.
But have we spoken about what are you going to do with the land?
Come on, Tata. Come
Can
on.
we educate
Yeah.
each other, our youth, on what to do with that land?
Yay.
Because what they look up to the cars, they look up to the houses. Listen, nothing wrong with that, but
Yes.
that's still not wealth.
Yes.
I'm going to be honest with you. I played a course last week. And I'm sorry, I'm getting off the script. NEL's built a beautiful golf course in Zimbabwe. You know,
right.
that area before,
Yeah.
it is what it is. Today, a stand is 10 million. I was inquiring. A good 2,000 square meter is 10 million rands. Got to 10 years ago, because Ghana.
Yeah.
It's Ghana.
Yeah.
The entire lot could have
Yeah.
probably been worth 1 million. But it took somebody with a vision
Sure.
and made what we call a leftovers the main dish.
And that's the wealth we are talking about. And I'm going to take you back right to the beginning.
Come on.
Throughout this day, we've been talking about educating our children.
Yes.
And for me, that's where the wealth must come in. Okay, we cannot do much now about the education system, but the education system is very flawed. And I'll tell you, when I was in school many years ago,
Yeah.
Standard 5,
Yeah.
I got a scholarship to go to a very expensive school.
Okay.
My parents couldn't afford that school. They couldn't even afford the food, you know, skaftin. Mina naniphatha iponyo-ponyo, yazi iponyo-ponyo, avocado. That's all I carried at school.
Ponyo-ponyo.
Ponyo-ponyo.
Yeah, something like something that you squeeze. Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I carried at school, you know, and these kids were all rich and all of that. And I looked at this. First thing I did was I didn't feel sorry about myself.
Right.
And this is what we are bringing
Come
to
on.
Black Wealth.
Right.
Stop feeling sorry about yourself.
You're not a victim.
Be
Whatever
confident.
has happened in the past, trust me, there are lessons, and we're going to talk about that. But let me finish this story quickly now. So, what I looked at this situation, I said, "Oh, these kids have got money. They have money when they come to school." And I could draw. Now, that's my God-given talent. I could just draw from a very young age.
I see where you're going.
I did comics.
I see where you're
I
going.
played with these kids. I did one-page comics
Yeah.
right there and there, and I made jokes about them, and I rented them out to them break time. Every time they'll come, they'll rent my comics, and they'll laugh at each other. Right there and there, my course of education should have changed, because 3 things happened there. One, I was an entrepreneur right
Yes.
there and there.
Come on.
At Standard 7.
Come on.
Number 2, there was a talent that should have been manifested right there in that Standard 7.
Yes.
The art.
Come on.
Nurtured, yes.
That's the second one. And the third one was problem solving. And that should have been nurtured there. Now, you fast forward many years later. I'm an architect. I got PhD in organizational leadership. Those are the 3 things that I've done. I do problem solving for companies. This is something I did there and there. But I went on to do biology and geography and hated all these things.
Yes.
Studied all the way
Yeah.
up until matric.
Just to get through.
Just to get through. But if you were to invest, that's investment 101, on your children right now, find what they are good at
Doc.
now
Yes.
and move them to a space where they can nurture this talent.
Doc.
Forget about that geography. They're not interested in
Doc.
it.
Absolutely.
Stop
Doc,
shouting
come on.
at them. Why did you get poor marks? He hates the thing.
Data.
This is so interesting because we had a student just last week
Yeah.
who didn't get the courses that she wanted at school. So her parents and her decided for her to end up homeschooling.
Right.
Just so that they can nurture the parts of her that are strong.
Right.
And the things she wants to go towards. So this is incredible advice. What else do we need to start unlearning? Because we know all these things that we want to learn or we should do, but where do we begin before we do all of
Challenge
that?
curriculums.
Yeah. We've got to do that. But also, I say we learn from good things, right? Everyone wants to learn from the good stuff. I'm here to tell you today, learn from the bad stuff. Your past.
Okay, I
Yes.
want to be your friend.
That's terrible.
Yes.
The stuff that's been done bad to you. This whole thing of hurt people must hurt people, that's nonsense.
Yeah.
Why are you hurting people because you were hurt?
Yeah.
Instead of blessing people because you were hurt.
Right.
Yes.
Now I'll give you another story. I'm
Hey.
a man of stories.
Hey, preach it,
Judge,
preach it,
listen,
man.
man.
You know, you're on the right track.
I grew up in a pastor's house now that you're talking preaching.
Okay, PK to PK.
Yeah, man.
Okay,
Yes,
all right.
sir. Now, in my father's house, there's 2 things I hated. I hated these things. Little
Yeah.
did I know that my dad was teaching me stuff.
Right.
One of them was that visitors would come to the pastor, to the mission house.
Yes.
These are church members to
yeah.
discuss all sorts of big things. But to us, this was home.
Yeah.
This was not a mission house. This was
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
They'll come when we're eating supper. I don't know
Unannounced.
how they know.
Unannounced.
Yeah, unannounced, and
Yeah.
they know that we're eating. They get there. and we're eating.
Ipigol seko.
Now listen, this is back in the day in Africa.
Yeah.
You don't eat while other people are sitting there watching
Yes.
you. So
Share.
my mother would take the plates from us
Ish.
back to the kitchen because this was small food.
Right.
Back to the kitchen and dish up for the visitors.
Ish.
I hated that thing.
And you
If-
have to eat bread, peanut
Now-
butter,
exactly.
and jam.
Even now, touch. I'm traumatized, my friend. When there is food on my table,
You
I
eat
eat
quick.
the meat quick.
Oh, Siafan! Oh! That's where I get it from!
That's where you get
I
it from.
didn't know.
It comes from them, man. Because somebody
Ah.
can come now. Even if you
Yes.
know you can pay this bill. No,
Us-
no, no. The trauma comes back.
Ask the team. When we have lunch,
Yeah, man.
the food arrives,
Yep.
I leave the show.
Yeah, yeah.
Ngiyo chinyama yami, ngiyitshe
What
ba-
time? Before somebody comes.
Before somebody comes.
Listen.
Because you know
Yeah.
there's a clicking, there's time is clicking on that drumstick and the wing and the thigh.
Yeah.
But here's the thing though. Part of the unlearning, I appreciate what you said. My son was at St. David's High, having difficulty with the sciences.
Right.
And my son is smart.
Okay.
I'm like, dude, you know, when he gets home, he makes music. This guy, later on, he starts designing shirts and this. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to enforce this curriculum by societal definition to be an academic because he knows the periodic table.
Yeah.
I've literally put my boys in an art school.
All right.
And they are thriving.
But that's investment.
And someone said, hey, motherfucker, at school, you took the opportunity for them to know business, maths, and science. I said, they'll hire somebody to do that.
Exactly. You are investing in your children. Friends, if we don't invest in our children, we leave them to the very good job that the teachers are doing. They're also limited to whatever curriculum they are given. Jeez. But you are the parent of this child, not the teacher, not the pastor at church. You are the parent.
Come on.
So sort out that child. You know what happened to this story?
Yeah.
This food that I was eating.
Yeah.
Now I grow up later and I become an architect and I get the opportunity to design pastors' houses in 45 countries across the world. Wow. Woo, that trauma stood up. How am I going to design these houses? That pain that, the pastor's kids must not suffer. So when I design a pastor's house, I make sure that it has a study.
Okay.
And I make sure that from the gate there is a sign that says house to the left, office to the right. Don't get lost. You are coming to see the pastor.
Office, right.
Go see the pastor.
Hallelujah!
This came from my bad
Trauma.
experience.
But back to what you said, you used your pain.
I used it to bless somebody.
Hey!
Use it to bless somebody.
Hey!
Jesus,
poverty are trembling. We are talking investment 101. Ladies and gentlemen, our knowledgeable doctor is here to give us true insights as early as primary school. When we get back, we're talking tertiary level. Then we're going to unpack it at investment level. There's all levels. You can't be left out of this conversation. Call your kid, call your cousin, let everybody watch us live as we stream this. It's for everybody.
It's for everybody.
You know what I mean?
It's never too late to learn.
Yeah.
Never ever.
I don't want to sit on a table with, discussing social media posts with my family. I want to hear ways you're thinking money-wise.
Come on.
What is your relationship with... What if our kids have a toxic relationship with money?
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Sure.
And they learn it from us.
They surely do.
Yeah, that's true.
We're about to unpack more, but I want to tell you this, man. It is Lotto Star time, and the Lotto Star daily winner. Yesterday's lucky player unlocked a fortune of 100,454 on Lotto Star slot games at 1 million fortune megaways from the 40 Rand spin. Will you claim the next spin? Well, spin the slots now. Lotto Star's Red Real Rush. The Red Rush slot camera. Lotto Star, your world of live games. Lotto Star is licensed by the Mpumalanga Economic Regulator. Nobody under the age of 18 can gamble. Line is 0800 006 008. T's and C's all apply. All games are fixed odds betting events. We're quickly going to do sports. Right, Toops?
Yes, let's go.
Metro FM Sport with Morena Matupi.
It may have been something that you missed over the weekend, but let me let you know that the FIFA Club World Cup, the new reinvigorated, rejuvenated FIFA Club World Cup that has gone from a few teams from each continent to now 32 teams from around the world, is now well underway. It got underway in the wee hours of yesterday morning, and it started off with the African Club of the Century, Al Ahly, facing Inter Miami, David Beckham's team that he owns, Lionel Messi's team that he captains, Luis Suarez's team that he scores many a goal for, and that game ended up in a goalless draw. And I must say, Jose Rivero, remember that name. If you're listening far and wide, beyond the South African borders, I know South Africans know him for Orlando Pirates and the 5 trophies he won for them in 3 seasons. But beyond the South African borders, because Metro FM does not last only in South Africa, it is something that is listened to in England, in America, right? In South America. Jose Rivero is a name you must never forget. He's the man that managed to silence Lionel Messi in Lionel Messi's backyard. 0-0 is how that game ended, as Al Ahly held Inter Miami to a goalless draw in the opening game. Then we switched over to the second game, where 10 goals were scored between Bayern Munich and Auckland City of New Zealand. Those 10 goals were all scored by Bayern Munich. 10-0 is how that game ended. Paris Saint-Germain, the reigning champions of Europe, they reminded Atletico Madrid why they are the reigning champions of Europe, because PSG beat Atletico by 4-0 in their opening game of the Club World Cup. We held Palmeiras and Porto, which ended in a goalless draw. We had Botafogo as well as Seattle Sounders. It ended in a 2-1 win for Botafogo. Tonight at 9 o'clock, we've got Chelsea, the 2021 European champions. They're going to be facing Los Angeles Football Club. That is a team that was once played for by Gareth Bale, is now being played for by Olivier Giroud. And then at midnight tonight, you've got Boca Juniors facing Benfica. I know Masandawana, in case you did not hear my last update, you're asking, Runa, well, your team is playing against the South Korean champions, that is Ulsan SD, but it's happening at midnight on Wednesday. So tomorrow, at the end of the day, that's when Sundowns are going to go live for their opening game of the Club World Cup. We are building up to Wimbledon. That is, of course, the grass court Grand Slam Championship, and we are looking at what's happening in the Queen's Club Championships, for the men's side at least. We've got Cameron Norrie on court right now against Jakub Menchik. Menchik taking the first set 7-6. You've got Holger Rune, who's through to the next round, 6-3, 6-4. He managed to beat Christopher O'Connell of New Zealand. You've got Francis Tiafoe dumped out by Dan Evans, Rafael Bautista Agut knocking out Nuno Borges, and then of course you're going to have Gal Monfils up against Mackenzie McDonald in the round of 32. Berlin Open, also grass court competition, but it's for the women. It's a WTA 500 event. Mira Andreeva is right now facing Magdalena Frech on the Steffi Graf Stadion, and then you've got the likes of Ons Jabeur, Emma Navarro. You've got Katerina Sinakova, who's through to the next round of 16. This is at the Berlin Open. And that is where I leave your Metro FM Sports here on the touchdown for this Monday replenishment. I am Morena Mutu.
Monday replenishment.
another touchdown. On Metro FM.
Bruno, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Love this brother. I love this conversation we're having on air because, you can't be spiritually fulfilled. Mm-hmm. This is me. It's my belief. Mm-hmm. If I had a ministry tomorrow, one, I'll make sure everybody's financially sufficient. Mm-hmm. I'm not in the business of asking you to contribute when you are a charity case. I don't get that. In a church where abokoko, that they earn pension and they still have to tithe. I love that. You are faithful with nothing. I get that. But you need a driving force of youth.
Right.
That is employed, that is industrial. Yeah. Ministry is a movement. It's not a place of just refuge and sorrow. Future scientists, future actuaries have to come out of ministries. That's why we need men who are in position of power that are okay, maybe I'm derailing. How do we have so many people sitting at home with certificates? Why do we have so many people who change degrees, but they don't practice it in a professional space?
Yeah. If you allow me, Tash, just to get back on this, the little part you spoke about on the ministry.
Yeah.
What we're doing now is to try and influence churches to change from just being churches, membership, take everything, give to this one pastor, to become centers of influence. And the difference is that a center of influence touches the community. It's all about the community.
Come on.
That's what a church should be all about. It shouldn't be about one person and their family getting all sorts of... it's unreal how they even float all this money in front of the members that they're getting it from. Okay. And they are not impacting the community. This is why during COVID, churches were closed and pastors were complaining that we are not preaching. Government did well because you are not centers of influence.
Right.
You should have been at that time of COVID, mini hospitals, mini soup kitchens. You should have been supplying, but you're all praying, crying that you're not receiving the tithe.
One day I'm going to invite you to Hope Restoration Ministries. That's why I support Pastor Chris Matebula so much. This man has built a school. And
that's what it's about.
We'll talk about. I'll give more details.
We'll talk about that one. We'll talk about that.
Yes.
You derailed. I derailed too.
Yeah.
I'm with you, man.
See, Pastor's kids.
Come on.
Come on.
But now that's very important. You touched on our kids are sitting at home with
Yes.
degrees, finished. I mean, high marks, and they're applying. They're not getting the work.
Yeah.
No.
Some who do get the work, they work for 5 years and all of that, then they drop. That
Yes.
it's, they don't like it. You know where it's coming from? What we spoke about earlier, the younger ages.
Right.
Your degree should be increasing your talent. It should be shaping what you already have in your hands, in your skills. This should be who you already are.
I know we're recording it, but I want you to repeat that. This is for my camera.
Come on.
Your degree.
Your degree should enhance, should make better what you already have in your hands.
Come on.
Your own talent. You shouldn't start finding a talent at tertiary. No, it should be influenced by who you've been all your life.
My word.
And so this is why you'll drop out.
Sure.
Because you ask most of them, they ask you in the application letter 3 degrees, 3 subjects you want to take, your preferred one, and they don't enter there because they don't have the marks. Then they go for the secondary and the third one, and they eventually do the third one. It's not who they are. It's not what they want. They go. That's disaster. That's failure.
My goodness.
Maybe let's touch on how expensive it is to follow through on a talent.
Okay.
The requirements, you know what I mean? So if you see your kid is an artist and you want to take them to an art school, that is not cheap. It is expensive. We are also in a place of dealing, with systematic inequalities.
Right.
Where do we find the middle ground?
Yeah. Look, I tell people this. Everything that you need to survive is in your surrounding.
Hallelujah.
It's right there. It's at home with your parents,
Yes.
your grandparents. This is the unfortunate thing that COVID did. It took away the grandparents. We got no wisdom, no more. Because those people who heard the wisdom, and I'm talking an African perspective.
Yes.
And I'm talking reaching our roots. What is it that things have become so expensive when before, as Africans, we did everything. We were fine.
This was our living.
When visitors came to our land, they did not find us dying here. We had pharmaceuticals in the garden. We have herbs in the garden. We had everything. We were not dying. They didn't come to help us. We were okay. And then they came, they changed everything. They destroyed what we have. And now they're not even doing that. They've done it so well that we destroyed ourselves now. And this is what the investment I'm talking about.
And when we get back, you said something about unlearning that which was already
Right.
inculcated over decades and decades. But I also find it sad how the vestiges of colonization today, how black treats black, is so eminent.
Hollywood Bets is bringing you a bounty of prizes with Spina Zonke prize drops. Gear up to unravel an endless supply of treasures and claim fantastic riches with a chance to win an amazing share of 2.5 million rand in cash and prizes. All you have to do is bet 2 rand or more on selected pragmatic play games on Mondays, Tuesdays and Thursdays between 12:30 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. Feel the ultimate thrill when you log in for a spin and bet now.
T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
The land is their legacy, but in season 3 of Yellowstone, that legacy is under fire. Kevin Costner returns as John Dutton, fighting to protect his ranch, his family, and everything that can't be bought. More enemies, deeper betrayal, and the battle for the West, it's only just begun. Yellowstone Season 3. This land was won with blood, and it'll take more to keep it. Saturdays at 9:30. Starts 24 May, only on S3. Open up.
We're out here at the Mzansi Bet Fan Parade. Here's to Smooth for backing the boys to their 10th straight win. It's Sarah who went all in on an innings win. It doesn't matter who you are or how you bet. Together, we are Mzansi. Bet 100 Rand and get 100 Rand bonus bet on mzanzibet.com. T's and C's apply. Mzanzibet is licensed and regulated by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. National Responsible Gambling Program. 0800 006 008. WhatsApp help 076 675 0710.
With over 3 decades in the game. Now listen. It's now a different playing field. What it is. Don't touch that dial. Metro FM. It's where you want to be.
We're back.
We back.
We are back.
We
We
back.
actually need like 2 hours for this conversation.
We really
I feel,
do.
because this conversation is happening, off air. But
Yeah.
obviously, the streaming sites are catching that part as well. There's so many important nuggets.
I'm loving this investment 101, especially during the replenishment hour, because the word replenish, refers to be whole again.
Yeah, restoring.
Come on. You know what I mean? You can't preach replenish in drought and you remain in drought. There's mental drought. Some of the reasons why we're struggling with policies that aren't practical for us black people is because we've not been present, we've not read the room. Certain things, until we remodel them, until we revisit, even with FSPs, when you look at the concept of borrowing and lending from an African perspective, it's not this nonsense that the bank are doing.
No, not at all. I want to touch on that, but I want to get back to what you spoke about before we went to the break.
Yeah.
On tertiary. Now,
Yes,
my
sir.
life story is that when I got to tertiary, I had good marks from matric.
Yes.
And I wanted to do architecture because I already have the skill.
Correct.
I've got the talent, so I'm in the arts. And I get there. But remember, I didn't do the arts all of these years. I couldn't get to those schools. I was back to your Lokshan schools that was teaching me biology. So I get there. And I chose to go to what they call a technikon rather than a university.
Got you.
Everybody in my family's friends were saying, you are a degree student. Why are you doing technical? I said, listen, I know how my father is. We are so cola to make ends meet. So I want to get to a space where I can just learn just for a year and be able to make money for myself.
Talk to me.
And I did just that. I was technical. You learn the art of drawing.
Yes.
You're busy learning the history of architecture.
Yay.
Busy with the Egyptian pyramids. I'm in South Africa. What am I going to
Nonsense.
do with all that?
Yeah.
We learned how to draw, and end of the year, I was drawing garages for people at home and getting them approved. Then the rest of my education, I funded it myself because I chose to go to Technikon. I'm now doctor, PhD. Now all those people were thinking, no, you are a lost cause. No, I was focused on where I've got to be after this schooling thing.
It's like you're talking to someone right now who's a plumber.
There we go.
And the idea of a plumber in society, you are reduced to that guy who's called when there's an emergency to unblock a toilet.
Right.
But do you know you can design housing systems and how, like, new developments that are going up in Sandton and all other cities?
And it must start from that mindset touch. Shift that mindset. That plumber must stop feeling sad for himself. Because he himself has been reduced. Listen, no matter how much people talk about you, it's what you say about yourself.
Preach to me.
That will determine who you are.
Sure.
I'm not just reduced to this. Listen, if this whole building's plumbing system fails, we need the plumber.
We do.
And there will be no millions made out of this building because that plumber hasn't done a good job.
Hey.
So you are valuable, man. No matter where you are in society, you are valuable. And that's investment 101. You got to invest in people. This is what I'm talking about. Investing in people, investing in yourself.
Yes.
And of course, changing the barometer. You've got to have that mind shift. Where do you want to be after this? You cannot just be doing this. You mentioned now, you spoke about us black people being our own enemy.
Yeah.
Man, that's so sad. That's so sad. We have reduced ourselves to the extent that whoever has a little something, man, they're keeping it to themselves. They want it for themselves. They want it just for their own family. Somebody came and brought this term, that if I help my cousins, if I help my families, you know the term, what is that term called?
Black tax.
Black tax, yes.
Black tax. I mean, what is that? That is so evil. You are saying giving back is being used. Listen, there will be people who abuse you, of course.
Sure.
I mean, you've got to have a good mindset.
Yes.
But giving back cannot
Why can't it be green
called-
or white tax? Why it's gotta be black?
Shouldn't even be tax at all. I'm in a group. I'm going to give a shout out. I'm going to do some shout outs most today.
Okay.
To Amatimer group. We were
Sure.
discussing this black taxing just the last day. This is chaired by your friend Titi
Mba, yeah.
I'm part of that group. All Amatimer, I know they're watching and they are listening now.
Sure.
Shout out to you. We're discussing this thing and we've agreed, 1,000 strong men, that listen, we don't use this word black tax. Tax is something that says I'm taking. No. You give back. In Xhosa we say ukuzala kukuzolula. Ukuzala, that's investment. That's you cannot say ukuzala kuzolula if you didn't invest in your kids. So the parents must start there. Invest in your children.
What about parents who didn't invest in their kids?
Exactly. You
Can they
cannot-
claim ukuzolula?
Sure. And now again, we've got to take a step back and say, did they want? Did they couldn't?
No,
Because
like a father who was nowhere.
No,
And then
that's-
you become
Yeah.
successful, or a
Of
mother was
No,
nowhere.
no,
they become
no, no, no.
successful,
Yes.
and they start
No.
making demands.
No. That's wrong. Don't come now when I'm all good.
Yes.
No. I
Yes.
needed you when I needed the diapers.
Right.
Yes.
Even if you
From-
didn't have the money, I
Yes.
needed your presents
Absolutely.
Jesus.
more than the presents.
Absolutely.
Because that's all we do. We throw the
Money at
gifts,
the problems,
throw the money at the
yes.
problem. There, you said it. Throw the money at the problem. Sometimes you don't need the money. You just need to be there
Absolutely.
and teach your child how to tie
Okay.
this shoe.
I'm getting on a plane to Australia.
Amongst many amazing things about our beautiful
Oh.
community, what do you think we're going to get right in this lifetime when it comes to black wealth? What will we get right in this lifetime?
That's a serious one. I think it's a revolution. It's a movement. I mean, we talk all these big words, but we don't do anything about them. I think that this talk here can't end here. We must then action it. We need to take these as action points and say, okay, touch. What do we do then next week? Can we take a group of men? Can we take a group of families?
Yes.
And change the system.
Act.
We spoke off air about the education system, this school, the art school that you took your boys to. Unfortunately, many people can't afford that.
Yes.
They've made it so expensive because somebody says, I claim this. So for you to get the best education, you've got to pay through
Right.
your nose
Yes.
for it. But that's somebody else. Why can't we do it ourselves? Why, if we found the problem, can't we then, as black entrepreneurs, as black people, do it for ourselves?
We got 10 minutes on the replenishment hour. Today's a different replenish. For those who love the music, yes, we are infusing it with knowledge, because knowledge is not just power, but it's an enabler.
This weekend, your supper is sorted at Pick n Pay. With Burri Saturday, smart shoppers get a 720-gram pack of Bomb Squad Wors with 6 P&P hot dog rolls for only 70 Rand. And Roast Sunday with any 2 rotisserie chickens for only 160 Rand. Supper sorted. Only at Pick n Pay while stocks last. T's and C's apply.
We out here at the Mzansi Fan Parade. Here's to Smooth for backing the boys to their 10th straight win. It's Sarah who went all in on an innings win. It doesn't matter who you are or how you bet. Together, we are Mzansi. Bet 100 Rand and get 100 Rand bonus bet on mzanzibet.com. T's and C's apply. Mzanzibet is licensed and regulated by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. National Responsible Gambling Program. 0800 006 008. WhatsApp help 076 675 0710.
It is the Replenish Hour, Investment 101 on a touchdown. We still got 7 minutes. I genuinely think we've prayed a lot as Christians. Unkulunkulu uzwile, God has heard us. Like, I need to see a movement of believers who roll up their sleeves and get the job done.
There we go.
Can men I'm a 28-day fasting and oh. My grandfather prayed. My great-grandfather prayed. Listen, can I live in the manifestation of the prayers and get the job done? I'm speaking to my industrialist, and my guest today is one of them. This man, he is a doctor, architect, construction. He owns a construction company. And I don't want to talk much about your work, but I have to tell everybody this.
Yeah.
You are so inclined in moving society forward. Everything that you do in the community, if it's uplifting people around you, you do it at a discount.
Yeah. Right up to 50%.
Right up to 50% as part of giving back. So if I'm building a school, you can build my school at 50%.
No matter the price, if your school is 1 million rands or 100 million rands, we'll build it at 50% of that.
Lord bless you.
And you asked the question, Lut, what can we get right? In my small corner, I'm getting that right.
Absolutely.
But I'm just one guy. Now we partner together. We'll do more of these schools. And I've looked at institutions. They raise the funds, but they don't have enough. So I partner with them, and we build the rest of the institution at 50%. As long as it impacts the community, that's our give back. We're getting that right.
Absolutely.
Getting that right. I mean, you've got to do something.
Yes.
I hear you about, and Lut's concern to me, I'm going to point the shotgun at policymakers.
Right.
Allow me to.
Okay.
Because all these dreams and aspirations, if we don't have the regulators on our end, if we don't have the counselors on our end, I have a good vision. I want to transform my community, but there's some counselor that I must pay some brown envelope to expedite my application. You find certain developments are held back at municipal level because you didn't pay the right price. That for me is a cancer where I can't stomach it. How do we get beyond that that mountain?
And we have to first speak against it, and we have to act against it. I mean, if they ask for that, and we have in that group of Amatama 1,000 guys who are saying we will not bribe, we just won't do it. We won't do it. I mean, it's so sad that a politician just now said I mean, they flaunt these things right in front of the people instead of serving the communities. Now, I can't change their mindset, but I can change my community where I am. And this is where I'm about. I'm saying wherever we are, let's change that mindset. This municipality, let's protect it. Let's go to that municipality, right to the end guy, and say, listen, I qualified, but I couldn't get it because I refused to bribe somebody. Here is all the evidence.
I had a friend who wanted to build an innovation hub, but he couldn't because the municipality declined the plans. And I'm like, wait a second. He came to me, he's like, hey, when I was like, what?
Yeah. And I see our time is going. I want to talk for a minute. Okay, first I must give a shout out to my wife, Leah.
You better.
My wife is Thandwa Sam. Hey, iqhakuva lam lothando. Yena lo engiyawuthanda ndize ndiyofana. Yeah. Love you, baby. I can't wait to come home to you and our 6 children, by the way.
What?
3 of them are working now. The other 2 are still at school. And
I'm
we have
playing
a baby.
games. I'm only on 2.
Yeah, no. You're still playing games. That's somebody else's mindset. We are Africans. We've got the land. Why must we suffer?
Right.
Now talk about investment.
Yes.
My dad invested in policies all his life. He never cashed on any. Why? Because he will get a job and then he just loses the job and then that thing lapses. You know that word?
Yes.
After 20 years gone.
Oh.
I did the same. I invested on policies and education policies and all of that. And when I lose work, I mean, then it's gone. It
what
lapses.
about an income protector?
No matter. Look, there are good plans that have been put in there, but it depends how long. How long are you out of a job? You're out of a job for a month. It's okay to protect 3 months, 2 years, 3. You can't.
It will lapse.
Why aren't we investing in what we are doing now with my wife in our business? We're investing back in nature. investing in cattle.
You and your wife work together?
Yeah, we work together. We
Nice.
do everything together. And she has a good voice for radio, by the way. I think
Okay.
yeah.
We're gonna bring her on a show.
I'm advertising
I
her.
love a supportive husband.
Dog.
Yeah. Must employ my wife. Yeah, I pay her.
Cool.
Because you can't.
She's good. Yeah, she's good.
But she's that good.
Yeah.
Listen, what we are doing, you invest in cattle. You buy, you give, you anybody can.
Yes.
1,000 rand a month.
Yeah.
Until it's 5,000.
Yeah.
And then you have your own cattle. It's yours. You can.
Is this
milk
what
it
you guys want as a
anytime.
business?
This is what
I
we're
want
doing.
one. I'm in. How do I
This
sign
is
in?
What we are doing on a daily basis. You have 100,000.
Yeah.
You get 5 cattle,
Yeah.
4 and a bull, and you can see your investment. You can milk your investment
in.
anytime.
I'm in. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to announce I've got 5 bulls
You have.
going in from today. When you see me, call me Touch the Farmer.
Yes, sir. And
Yes.
you can see them.
Yes.
Touch them.
It's got a ring to it.
Yeah.
Right?
Touch
That's
the
the
farm.
farm.
I'm going to let Donald Trump sing that song in the Oval Office. Tata, thank you for joining us today.
God bless.
It's such an honor. You coming back with Osliago.
I'm coming back with my wife.
Woo!
That beautiful house, Leah.
Listen to that.
Oh man, I love love.
Lute is
I
like,
love love.
"Please,
I
give
love
me a
love.
man like
I'm
this.
about it.
Lute is like, God, send me a man. Kia ora, Betsy. It's so good to see you.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
SABC News, independent and impartial.